Hi, thanks for joining my annual roundup of my favourite models for 2024. As with previous years, I have managed my purchases to avoid potentially poor models, so thankfully I won't be covering any lemons or disappointing models. Only my top 5 for the year, preceded by a number of honourable mentions. The views expressed in this video are my own, and I don't have any relationship with the manufacturers involved. While I have produced scores for each of these models based on my standard criteria, this list will be less based on those scores and more based on my own personal preferences and models I got the most enjoyment out of during the year. First up is my best budget model of the year. I do like to seek out value where I can get it, and this year I picked up a number of heavily discounted models, all of whom I will be covering in the weeks ahead. The standout for me in terms of value was this Class 57 from Helion in the first Great Western livery. Already having some suitable coaching stock was a big part in making this purchase. The other was the price, which bottomed out at a Hornby Railroad level price of £85, while other more popular liveries were still being sold for nearly twice that much. While not up to the standard of either the previous or retooled Bachmann Class 57s, this is still a very decent model, and combined with a Hornby TXS decoder, it gives me a very nice option for local hauling my Mark III First Great Western rake without breaking the bank. While some other discounts came close, one of which I'll be getting into soon, this was the standout discount for me in 2024. Another model in the budget category worth a mention is the Helion Class 33. Again, these models have been heavily discounted in recent times, many available for under £100. I will cover one of these in an upcoming video, and as per my criteria I've been using, it's been a trouble-free model that I've enjoyed running on the layout, and again with the TXS decoder on board. Next up, I want to get into some of my honourable mentions which didn't make my top 5 list, but which were still models I liked a lot and enjoyed having on the layout. First up is actually a 2023 model from Hornby. Moreover, it's actually 9 models, specifically the Hornby Class 43 Midland Pullman HST train pack and the 8 coaches to go with it. When I originally saw the coaches selling for $19.95, I figured, what have I got to lose? At that price they could be very viable candidates for a respray if I wished, and even as a sell-on I was sure to get back what I paid for them. When I actually checked out these coaches, I was pleasantly surprised. As well as being state-of-the-art Mark IIIs from Hornby with all of the latest bells and whistles, I really liked the look of these coaches on the track and saw them as keepers, and it would come down to locating a HST train pack to go with them. Unfortunately, the latter were sold out through the retail channels, but given I've seen videos of intercity swallow liveried HSTs pulling these coaches, I was resolved to living with that. When an as-new pre-owned model came available from Rails, I had to make a decision and ultimately took the plunge, so now I have a full train configuration in this livery. I love this set and it will feature in an upcoming video. Both coaches and the HST pack have been available discounted for a number of months, and I'm just glad to have picked this up before the door closed, both availability and price-wise. Next on my honourable mentions list are the Genesis coaches from the now defunct Hattons. This final act from Hattons featured a large selection of Irish liveried models which sparked my interest. While I haven't had much time with these models on the track yet, so far I've been very pleased with these nicely detailed models and will feature them in an upcoming video as well. If you follow the channel, you'll know how unhappy I am with the latest pricing of the HST packs from Hornby. Now Hornby did mitigate this somewhat with their Era 8 Intercity Executive liveried version, which features TXS sound in both the power and dummy cars. While the street price value of these decoders is of the order of £130 or so, the price premium for this model is a mere £50 over the standard DCC ready models, which certainly helps in delivering a better value solution, particularly if you can get the model at a reasonable discount in the first place. While models with pre-fitted decoders won't be for everyone, TXS decoders don't require the added DCC infrastructure to run under Bluetooth control, so they can be a great way for DC-only users to get into the world of digital control. Hence, this HST pack gets an honourable mention for building these in for a modest price increment. Now this brings me to my top 5 models for 2024. In 5th place I have the Revolution Trains TEA wagons that are reviewed early in the year. Coming in at a decent discount versus their Bachmann equivalents, I found the wagons to be excellent runners, with a good level of detail and a nice range of livery options. The only downside was availability, and these wagons sold out quickly. No surprise with that, and a nice release from Revolution Trains. Next up is a Curoscales Class 31. There's no surprise, I guess, in this model featuring in the top 5. This is a well-executed, trouble-free model that ticks all the expected boxes, and it comes with an excellent range of liveries. While the Network Rail version I still have on pre-order promises to be something special, this year's offering is well deserving of a top 5 place and will be a long-term keeper in my collection. To say that the top 3 models more or less selected themselves isn't far from the truth, and it really came down to in what order I would rank them, as they all broke boundaries this year in terms of what they delivered. At the end of the day, here's the order I came up with, but all 3 are standouts in their own right. At number 3, I have a Curoscales range of Mark IIB coaches, and in particular their British Rail versions. They also delivered Northern Ireland Railways and Irish Rail versions as well, that were groundbreaking for Irish modellers. Excellent detail, running performance and interior lighting all added up to make these models superior to anything else that has preceded them. What a joy to have these on the layout, and they set a bar for all future coach releases. I have Mark IICs on pre-order for 2025, and I'm looking forward to seeing those. Number 2 on my list is Hornby's excellent Prince of Wales P2 with steam and sound on board. A decent model in its own right without the steam function, I was interested to see how effective Hornby's new steam solution would be in practice. The answer is I loved it, and the added effect of steam synchronised with the sound has made for an excellent railway modelling experience. Non-railway modellers I've showed this to are instantly impressed. In terms of enjoyable experience on the layout, this model was up there, and with the typical 10 to 20% discounting on this model, it's reasonably affordable as well. And that brings me to my favourite model of 2024. I guess I had unfinished business with Hatton's Class 66 after my initial experience. As soon as I heard a Curoscale were picking up this model, I had a good feeling about it. Hatton's had delivered perhaps 80 to 90% of what they'd set out to do, but unfortunately its main failings were in that most critical area of any model, the running performance on the track. Fix this and some of the other quality failings, and this would be a model for the ages. Could a Curoscale do it? Well, yes they did. Much of the original design was retained, and rightly so. The issues were addressed, the wrinkles were ironed out, and the end result was what we all had hoped for. The Curoscale Class 66 has the feel of the maturity of the second generation model that it is. Smooth and well executed, while retaining all that attracted people to the Hatton's model in the first place. A joy to run, as well as visually stunning, I believe this model is deserving of its pole position here. A visual and running joy on the layout, this model is the closing chapter on what Hatton set out to achieve originally. Probably a contender for model of the decade, as much as model of the year. The Curoscale Class 66 stands out for me among all the other fine models released this year. So what is your favourite model of 2024? That model that has been particularly special for you. Also, what bargain models did you pick up that exceeded your expectations and found a special place on your layout? Please let us know in the comments. If you've had some major modelling disappointments this year, please share those as well as potential warnings to other modellers. 2024 saw some really great models above and beyond what I've covered here, and we'll see more of these in 2025. With costs escalating, I will look to cover some of the more modest investments for your layout in the coming year that can still help enrich the modelling experience. The hobby isn't all about the latest and greatest shiny locomotive, so I'll try to reflect that more in the channel content. So thanks for joining today, and to all subscribers and viewers to the channel. I want to wish you and yours a happy, healthy and prosperous new year. I'll hopefully see you on some of my next videos, but in the meantime, take care and happy modelling.